All right, folks, gather round, because if you thought 2024 was wild, buckle up for mid-September 2025. We're talking about a conflict so intense, it practically earned its own reality TV show. Israel and Yemen's Houthi forces, also known as Ansar Allah, decided to spice things up. Not with a cooking competition, but with a full-blown missile and drone showdown. Let's just say the Houthis brought some rather unexpected party tricks to the table. It all kicked off on September 9th. While Israel was busy commemorating something important, the Houthis apparently thought, what better way to show our respects than with a hypersonic missile? Yes, you heard that right. A Palestine II missile from Yemen decided to drop in on sensitive targets near Jerusalem. And because one surprise isn't enough. 3 Houthi drones also swung by Ramon Airport and a couple of other vital spots in southern Israel. It was less of an attack, more of a very aggressive uninvited flyby. And the Houthis, bless their hearts, made it clear. We keep sending these airborne love letters as long as Gaza is under siege. Talk about a persistent pen pal. 2 days later, on September 11th, the fun continued. A Yemeni ballistic missile decided Ramon Air Base needed a closer inspection. Israel naturally wasn't thrilled about being on the receiving end, so they promptly returned the favor, but with more gusto. While Jaffa, Yemen's capital, Sana'a, got a taste of Israeli firepower, resulting in some tragic casualties. It was a classic you hit me, I hit you harder scenario, just with far more devastating consequences for innocent civilians. Then came September 16th, the grand finale, the main event, the hold my beer moment of the whole escalation. Yemen's forces unleashed another Palestine to hypersonic missile, this time aiming for Haifa Tel Aviv, specifically YFA Tel Aviv, and according to the Houthis, it wasn't just a near miss, it was a bullseye. They claimed to have struck sensitive targets, sending millions of Israelis scrambling for cover. Imagine the chaos. People probably dropped their hummus and falafel mid-bite. It was like a very unwelcome, very loud, and very fast meteor shower. Israel, clearly not in the mood for unannounced hypersonic visits, retaliated with a vengeance. Their target, the crucial port of Hodeidah in the Red Sea. They hit it hard, causing massive fires in oil tanks, and sadly, more civilian casualties. Israel's reasoning? Hodeidah was apparently the Houthis' favorite spot for receiving gifts from Iran. You know, it's the kind of gifts that go whoosh, and then boom, it's all very cloak and dagger. If the cloaks were giant cargo ships, and the daggers were long-range missiles. Now, let's talk about the strategic fallout, because this wasn't just about explosions and frantic runs to shelters. The Houthi attacks delivered a serious punch to Israel's metaphorical gut. Specifically, they managed to temporarily shut down the port of Eilat. For those not in the know, Eilat is Israel's one lonely vital gateway to the Red Sea, their main trading route with Asia and Africa. The Houthi sea blockade reportedly slashed Eilat's activity by a staggering 85%. That's not just a dent. It's like taking a sledgehammer to your favorite piggy bank. It showed Israel just how vulnerable they are to this naval war of attrition. Suddenly, global trade routes felt a whole lot more precarious, and Eilat's port probably felt like a very expensive ghost town. But amidst all this geopolitical chess and missile diplomacy, let's not forget the very real, very tragic human cost. Israel's retaliatory airstrikes on Sana'a and Al Jaf on September 11th weren't just about strategic targets. They reportedly killed at least 35 people and injured over 130 civilians. Homes, medical facilities, government complexes, all reduced to rubble. It's a stark reminder that when the big players flex their military muscles, it's often the innocent civilians who bear the brunt. Caught in a crossfire they never asked to be a part of. Now a quick peek under the hood of Houthi military tech, because their capabilities are starting to turn heads, and not in a good way for their adversaries. They're rocking ballistic missiles like the Palestine II, rumored to pack a punch with cluster warheads, and drones like the Samad 3 and Samad 4. These aren't your grandpa's paper planes, folks. These are serious pieces of hardware that have apparently learned a few new tricks. And then there's Israel's shiny, much-vaunted Iron Dome missile defense system. For years, it's been the superhero of the skies, batting away incoming threats. But in this conflict, against simultaneous attacks involving hypersonic missiles and swarming drones, its effectiveness started looking a bit questionable. Was it overwhelmed? Was it caught napping? Or perhaps the Houthis just found the off switch. Whatever the reason, the Iron Dome's legendary status took a bit of a hit, proving that even superheroes have their Achilles heels, especially when faced with a really complicated, multi-pronged villain. Of course, when the fireworks get this big, the international community can't help but chime in. The Doha Summit saw Arab and Islamic leaders gathering, probably with a lot of stern faces and "we told you so" murmurs. They called for de-escalation, condemned the cross-border attacks, and, most importantly, pushed for humanitarian access to Gaza. This effectively put Israel even further into diplomatic isolation on the regional stage. It was less a summit, more a "we're very disappointed in you" meeting. Adding to the pressure, a global humanitarian flotilla, sailing from various ports, decided to make its own statement. This wasn't about military might. It was about moral and symbolic pressure, shifting the international spotlight from military embargoes to the burgeoning humanitarian crisis. It's like sending a giant floating care package with a very clear message. Hey, people are suffering here. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more tense, Houthi sources dropped another bombshell. They warned that Israel's retaliatory measures would only push them to expand their targets even deeper into Israeli territory, cooking up simultaneous attacks designed to utterly drain enemy air defenses. It sounds less like a threat and more like a very strategic, very terrifying game plan. So the message from Yemen was clear. You think that was bad? Hold my cot. So there you have it, folks. Mid-September 2025. Conflict that reminded everyone that the Middle East is never, ever dull. From hypersonic missiles playing hide-and-seek with air defenses, to strategic ports turning into ghost towns, and the tragically consistent human cost, this escalation was a masterclass in geopolitical tension. It's a reminder that in this part of the world, peace is often a fleeting whisper, and conflict, unfortunately, is a very loud roar. Let's hope for quieter times, but based on recent history, I wouldn't hold my breath.